In this video, I'm going to be sharing how I deal with writer's block. So if you are having writer's block, come on in. So there are two ways with which I deal with writer's block, and I am going to share them with you. Right now, as I'm making this video, I am going through serious writer's block, but am I still writing? Yes. So I'm going to be sharing with you the two ways with which I deal with writer's block, because writer's block is really terrible and it happens to even the best of us, and I think it's a demon sent from the pits of hell to stop us from reaching our potential as writers. So the first way I deal with writer's block is to outline. So outlining is awesome. I cannot write a book without outlining, because if I do not outline, I would never finish a book. Even if the outline I'm doing is a very short outline, outlining just helps me get work done, because man, just writing from the top of my head, just writing because based on vibes, it's not gonna do it. It's not going to do it for me. So I always outline my books, and I do different methods for outlining. There's a method I use for my comic writing, because yes, I write comics, but there's a method I use for that, and there's another method I use for my novel writing. So the novel writing one, I make my outlines very vague. I do a chapter by chapter outline, and it's very vague. It's very vague. So, and that allows me to think. That allows me to think of things to add. So for example, I could write chapter 1, Rachel meets Daniel at a bar while she is crying about her boyfriend breaking up with her, and he comforts her and takes her home, and they have a one-night stand, and she wakes up the next morning angry and terrified about the man in her bed, and she sends him home. So that's what I would write. But then obviously the chapter is not going to be that short. I might add how she broke up with her boyfriend at the beginning, and so that's just it. It gives me room to add more things. It gives me room to think and to still be a pantser, like they call them. So that's what I do. But just having an idea of what I'm going to write always helps me. And if you're a pantser, that's great. What you can do is that you can always think of your story, and before you write down the scenes you want to write. So you know that, okay, I'm going to write at a certain time every single day. So write down the scenes that you want to write. So that's what helps me. Outlining just helps me. And how it helps me is because one thing about writer's block is that you might not feel like writing, and you might not feel inspired to, but once you know what you're already going to write, it's just going to help you. It's just going to take away that part where you're like, oh, what am I going to write today? It will help you actually get to work, because you already know what you're going to write today. There is no question about what you're going to write that day. So it really helps. Outlining helps. The second thing I do that helps me with writing is to just write. That's it. Right now, the writer's block that I'm struggling with is that I actually don't feel like writing. I had outlined the story since 2021, and this is 2022, and now I have to get it done for something that I want to submit it for something, and I have to get it done. And right now it's just really hard to sit down and write, because I feel rushed. I have to get it done, and it's just I'm not in that space to write really, but I want to get it done. I really want to submit it for what I want to, for the to the publication I want to submit it to. So it's just really hard for me, but I have to write. So whether I feel it or not, whether as I'm writing, sometimes it just feels like I feel like I'm writing rubbish, but like someone says, you can't edit a blank page. And right now what I'm telling myself is, I'm not looking for perfect. I'm not writing perfect. What matters the most is that I'm getting it done. What matters the most is that I'm writing. And so that's what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm doing. So whether I feel like it or not, whether I feel down, whether I feel a bit disconnected from the story, the most important thing is to get it done. Because when I get it done, I can always go back and edit. So that's my advice for you. Just write. Outline and just write. You might not feel like writing. It might feel dreadful to even get ready to write, but just write. You might feel like you're writing rubbish, but rubbish can be edited. It can be edited. You cannot edit a blank page, and you can keep on repeating that to yourself. You cannot edit a blank page. So these are how I deal with writer's block. I hope it helped you. How do you deal with writer's block? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and share with your writing friends. And until next time, bye.